Preparing students to demonstrate mastery of math state standards can feel like a dull, unending cycle of equations and practice problems. Unengaged, frustrated students can weigh on teacher confidence and lead to uncertainty about overall achievement. Two Ivy League-trained engineers observed this struggle and created a way to transform how students learn the fundamentals of math. Through the innovative Accoletics math program, EDA has helped more than 400,000 students achieve success on state-administered math tests and transformed the academic strategies and performance of schools nationwide. Accoletics' uniquely designed supplemental materials and tools are well aligned to your state standards and provide a clear path to exceed state proficiency standards. Through ongoing professional development, you will uncover common challenges and activate solutions that promise to improve student achievement in your school. By partnering with EDA and choosing Accoletics, you can start to see an unprecedented return on your investment in as little as one school year. Don't procrastinate on giving your teachers the tools to help students achieve their highest math potential. To learn how you can dramatically improve classroom instruction and learning, test scores, and student confidence, call, email, or visit Accoletics online today.
Is that delicious beverage?
Duh.
Marc Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
Welcome to the show. We are live from Vegas, Bootsy Vegas, and this is in the DMV. We are blessed to have the one and only business bully in the building. Who? Let me just say this, y'all. The business bully has always thought he was cute. Ladies, say something. We've got three of the most unattractive, think they're cute brothers in the game on this show right now.
Are you counting yourself? Are you counting yourself in that or no?
I said three, Bootsy.
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure.
You can't tell us that we ain't cute. I mean, I'm just sorry, ladies.
Hey,
now,
business bully. Somebody's on West Coast time for real. He looked like he's on West Coast time. Like
He really does.
he looked like, man, I ain't with this.
Now, Bootsy, now me and Dave, we got some bad chicks who are vouching.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bootsy, you ain't.
You know,
Look,
you know the slander that you do. First of all, I want you to figure this out for me, Dave. I roll with the greatest band in the history of music and lived in LA on their dime, and then roll with arguably one of the greatest African American broadcasters as his co-host. and I was sitting shotgun, and arguably one of the greatest go-go bands in history. And you telling me I didn't pull one?
You're right.
Yeah, like automatically on at least one of those, you should be getting some top quality residual tail.
So don't let how we started off this conversation be an indication of the intellectual prowess that is on the call. We just got, I'm excited because I'm on the West Coast. I'm trying to be quiet because Al.
You don't want to make your roommate up?
No, Al is here with his lovely wife, and I should have asked, is it okay to do it here because they're sleeping over there? I don't want to wake him up, but at the same time, it'd be great to have him on.
Yeah.
And his lovely wife. But again, they are sleeping right now. But anyway, we're in Vegas. As Dave, Mr. Product, knows, Vegas has basically cut a deal, it seems like, with all the conferences, with all the, I guess, businesses or styles of business to have their conferences here. I was talking to, there's a pizza conference going on also. And I was talking to a pizza shop owner, and he was saying that they used to move around, but apparently Vegas cut the check, and most of the the meat convention, the drink the pizza, all of them are dairy. They're all here now. But it really, obviously, we know why. I mean, it's Vegas. I mean, I think Vegas, New York, and New Orleans probably have to be you could put anything there, and it's going to be off the chain.
Yep.
Dave,
and Miami.
I know you know.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And Miami, like these folks have money to burn, right? And then you also have to, I always tell people, you can't divorce the fruit of a thing from the root of a thing. We know how Vegas started. Okay? We know who is behind Vegas and who was behind Vegas. Same entities. That doesn't change. It's just that it evolves. And smart business understands that it is business first, and that is guaranteed money, and the house will always win. So they went and set up house, and they said, how can we do what we used to do on radio, which is called NTR, non-traditional revenue? Conferences. Listen, this is a fun town. Now that we've gotten, like we're past the Rat Pack, we're past all that. Vegas has just as many family attractions and historical things to pay attention to as they do debauchery. And, you'll see this on the Strip. You'll see a bunch of people slapping cars. That's for the escorts. There is dirty business and clean family fun. And if you want good business and an excuse to say, honey, you know what? I got that pizza convention. We're talking about what we're doing. The latest in marinara technology has to happen in Vegas. It's a winner.
Hey, and the other thing about Vegas is why it's smart to have their conferences there is that no matter what, they gonna find a way to get your money in Vegas. They gonna find a way to spend some extra money in Vegas. One thing about Vegas, you may think you're coming for a convention and you may think you're paying a lot, but they gonna find a way to get that money back. Like no matter what, they gonna get that return. Before you leave, they gonna get that return. Leave that.
Also, what I love about the show and having a brother like the Business Bully on is the Business Bully is going to understand this. Y'all may not. So, my childhood friend, Al, we're all wearing T-shirts, Business Bully.
Yes, sir.
And so, Al gets me the 2X.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now,
flex on them.
Dave
Flex on
Bootsy,
them.
Bootsy, you want to understand. The good news is Dave and I are on weight loss journey. We're dropping weight by the pound, hundreds of weight.
Yes, sir. I'm moving weight like Rick Ross in 97.
like Ice Cube. Okay.
But let me tell you something. When you put that 2X on, Dave, it fits.
It fits.
But you're going to be highlighting some man boobage. You're going to be highlighting some rolls. You're going to be. But let me tell you something. And Dave, again, Bootsy, because we're cute, we don't care really. We okay with it. People can look at the shirt and they'll see what they see. You'd be like, sure is.
It kind of evens out. I got you. Okay.
It sure is. Whatever you think's going on, yes, it is going on.
That's what's happening. It's a disaster area. Listen, Tashi. See, now Mark is a man of a certain age. He's also married to a television icon who happens to be stunningly gorgeous and completely out of her mind for marrying this man. However,
a lot of people in DC think that as well. But go ahead. Continue.
Oh yeah, but my whole thing, Bootsy, is I'm a little bit younger. I'm a little bit younger. And I'm a little bit more vain. So I have a new appreciation for compression gear. That's what you call shapewear for men. You call it compression gear. Because I got things all over the place. I was like, what is this? And I realized there's no more fat. So my middies You know what I'm talking about? My middies, my man. Yeah, you know those things. It's just skin on the side. So I gotta hoist all that over, and I gotta shrink it down. I gotta zip it up. You see what I'm saying? But listen,
sound like a man spank. But go ahead though.
Wash your mouth.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
But Dave, as the business mind here, Dave, why aren't we hopping into this man Spanx business? What's going on here, player?
I'm trying to figure out where I can get in when it comes to when it comes into compression shapewear for gastric patients, especially for men, because we're shaped differently, and there's things on the market, but none of them work, in congruence. And then you need those that can perform for workouts, so that you're getting that really good sweat in. Like right now, I'm a 3X bordering the 2X line right now. Like this is a 3X polo, and I washed it and it shrunk, but it still fits. That is a market I'm trying to get into, but that takes a certain amount of time and resources. And I've got the resources, the time though.
Yeah, it's there though. Market's there.
Oh yes, and I'm going to corner it. It'll just be like third quarter.
See, Bootsy, you don't understand what Dave just said. Big people understand. You got your favorite outfit.
I was big at one time
and
too.
You wash it and it shrinks. Now, your first blame is you're blaming the washer and dryer.
You're fighting the dryer.
You're mad at the washer. You ain't mad at your big self. You're mad at the washer dryer because it shrunk my favorite sweater. So, Bootsy, you don't understand.
Well, hold on. I don't know if you guys know. I lost 70 pounds as well.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah, I lost. Yeah, that picture with Allison, I weighed 300 pounds, Mark. It's a picture of Allison in my class. I weighed like 310 pounds in that picture.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I lost weight too. I know the struggle. I mean, and I always tell people this, even at my biggest weight, this was always my thing. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I may be big, I may be a little bit uglier, but I got cute features.
There you go.
We will find something to latch on to, won't we? Listen, I may have had 3 chins, but I have perfectly arched eyebrows.
You better
Hey, you gotta. Hey, let me tell you something.
I always have cute features, Dave.
The one I'm proud of. They'll be like, Dad and Allison. One thing about Dad though, he don't ever stink.
Yes, because and let me tell you something. Big people
that's important.
Who are not out here washing.
That is important.
I'm going to need you. First of all, that's another thing. I'm going to take on Dr. Squatch and Mr. Squatch because I need big people to start breaking that stereotype. Get your big ass in the shower twice a day.
That's a great.
You got a lot of landmass area to cover. I'm gonna need your big behind to go ahead and
a lot of what, Dave? I just want to hear that again.
Landmass area. You got crevices that hide the funk of 40,000 years, like a Vincent Price rap. That I'm gonna need y'all to spend extra attention on. Cornstarch is your friend.
Boy, you are prophesizing and testifying today, Dave. Listen, and we only been here 10 minutes, bro. Woo.
Wait a minute. While we're there, and we're going to move on to real stuff. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, this is real.
It's been a while. I'm sorry. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, let's while we're taking shots.
Right.
I got to go for my woke crowd. Let me tell you something. Locks, natural tresses.
Let's
tell you something. Not only you have to wash your hair, you have to dry your hair, because if you don't dry your hair, it'll get that moldy smell. And nobody wants to deal with the moldy smell. Okay, nobody has the courage to tell you to your face because you're woke and you're special, you're loved. We love you so much.
Natural, Afrocentric,
natural, and also it's usually the same crew that does not wear deodorant. Look, here's the key to the deodorant piece. You have to eat a certain diet if you're going to do that. You can't just be out here Popeyes and frying it up and then expect that funk not to. No, sir. You got to be eating green fruits, vegetables, berries, nuts.
Mark went to Vegas, Dave. He in Vegas. His whole mind is changed now.
We know that friend that always got that sour smell. You know they're clean. They're just not drying their hair properly.
Listen, let me tell you something. First of all, what Mark is too kind to say is that your pH stands for pretty horrible. So I'm going to need you to address that first of all. Second of all, if you wash it, how about you condition it? Why don't you you wanted to grow the locks, boo-boo cakes, all right? You got your herbal tea and your waist beads. Take your behind to a professional loctician. There's a great one in the DMV. You know,
a professional what? Hold on. A professional what?
Loctician. LOCTI-ition. Loctician. They can help you get them retwist and make sure that you look and smell good. Also, let me tell you something. There are oils that can help with that.
Mm-hmm.
There are treatments that can help with that. This should not be hard. It really shouldn't. Hygiene is for you too. Hygiene, being less than hygienic is unconscious.
Well,
Hey,
You want to stay woke, stay washed. That's all.
And you know what? If you want to do what again?
If you want to stay woke, Bootsy,
Mhm.
stay washed.
That's important. That
That's
is
a
definitely
t-shirt.
important. That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt. Now,
I'm writing it down now.
So here's the thing about all this, right? I just think we need to understand that the Lil Wayne era is now gone, so we can let the dreads thing go. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? The Lil Wayne Chief Keef era, that's over.
We can't cut his off.
Well, especially for those who are again,
because it cut off
remember
itself.
when you had locks, it meant something.
Right.
It's kind of
What did it mean, Mark? What did it mean? Because I don't know what it meant.
Well, first of all, it used to be, I'm older than y'all. It used to be, Rasta brothers, Rastafari.
Rude boy.
And people from, they were making a statement,
Okay.
a religious statement, Then like when you talk about the style piece, that's when I think Lil Wayne and, it's kind of like, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like Dave said, just take care of that. Okay, enough of the light stuff. Number one. So this is what I got to also acknowledge, Bootsy, every time Dave is on, because I need to acknowledge it, Dave, because I don't want you to think that I don't understand what's really happening. I saw Dave on a podcast. What's the brother from Atlanta, Dave? What's that kind of
Beehive ATL.
So Dave is on. Let me tell you something. My podcast has,
I love
we're killing it at
podcast.
25, right? Dave's been on. Dave's been on the biggest podcast in the universe. Dave sat down with the greatest influencers, and it's for record. It's not. You can go Google it, right? And I just had to laugh because I wanted Dave to know that every time you're on, Dave, I appreciate you, my brother. Because again, I know you do not have to come on this podcast. You come on the strength
and deal with these regular folks in here.
And also, I say it because don't be trying to hit Dave and get him on your podcast because he probably ain't gonna do it. Because I mean, when he got all these people, when he got Gary Vee on speed dial, he ain't really, I'm saying. I'd love to see you, Dave, with what's your man's name? Jason Lee. I would love to see you with him, man.
I've had Jason Lee on my show. I haven't done Hollywood Unlocked yet. I'll probably do it in the next couple of months. I love Jason. Jason's he was one of the tipping points, along with you, as to why I decided to go ahead and get the surgery. Because we were talking, he was like, I had the surgery. I said, really?
I know, cute ass David. He had the surgery? Well, we need to get the surgery.
I was like, yo, for real? Because I didn't know what he did. And he was like, yes. I said, I went through all the steps to stand in 30. He's like, when you getting there? I said, July. He was like, oh, yeah, you're going to love it. I said, what about skin? He said, well, I have my surgeon on standby. You know how he talk. I have my surgeon on standby. He'd be like this. Now, I have my surgeon on standby, but luckily I'm cute enough. Whereas though I just worked out and I drank the bone broth and I stuck right to my diet and I don't have any loose skin. And I was in Versace in 6 months.
Did he have those glasses on, Dave, when he said it?
Not those glasses, but he has glasses like those.
Similar, yeah, because you wanted to reenact it for us.
Yeah, I was trying to. I like to paint the picture. I'm a storyteller, Bootsy.
Right.
So, Dave, this whole experience with my childhood friend and Al with a delicious beverage,
yes,
it's been great because hop on, brother.
What's up, Al?
Al's in his drawers, y'all.
Wait a minute.
Whoa,
wait a minute.
She wanna go sleep in my bed.
Whoa.
Hey.
I mean,
Marcus
Allison. Hold on. Let me call Allison real quick. Make sure.
Marcus Anthony Clarke. What are you talking about?
I meant, does she want to go up there and not be anyway?
She don't want to hear the noise coming from downstairs. Apparently.
Oh, sorry, dude. She ain't gonna be mad at me.
She ain't tripping.
Okay. So, so what this has got me thinking, Dave and Bootsy, and a whole bunch of things. Number one,
right.
Dave, what I'm seeing is when you look at the profile, not a whole bunch of African Americans at these conferences at this level.
Right.
For I still know a whole bunch of reasons. I'm sure the getting in price and all that kind of stuff is real. Having your product at a certain level ready to go And if somebody says, yeah, I want to order 10 pallets, so Dave, put us inside, again, because I think, to be honest, I had no idea this even was going on. I think the average person, when you go into your fast food place or go into your whatever, you have no idea that what's really going on behind the scenes. Obvious is the meat people here, the beverage people are here, the bread people are here, the natural ingredient people are here, the nut people are here. And this happens all the time in smaller venues. This is, I guess, one of the bigger venues. So Dave, talk to us about that when you're a business and you're either preparing for something like this or why you should go to something like this. What do these conferences hold? Or these shows hold?
Right. Well, there's three things. The first thing is you want to be where the masses of influence are, right? Not the masses of people, but where the masses of influence are. The people who control the products and services, right, that align with your business. So, for example, if I have, let's say I took over Godfather Pizza or something from Herman Cain. Let's just say I did. I did not, but let's just say that I did. I'm going to always be looking. God bless Herman Cain. I'm always going to be looking for better dough. I'm going to be looking for better whole milk mozzarella, or a good mozzarella provolone blend. I'm going to be looking for the best deal I can get on granulated garlic. I want to know what the anchovy distributors are looking about, because we also have to take into account when things happen when it comes to import, export, and things of that nature. That affects everything. If you can't get things on the ship, the cost of a banana will go up. Right? When we start talking about commodities, all of those things are important. So you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, and you also want to get relationships with people who have what we call volume discount pricing. Okay. Meaning, if I have a situation where I know I've got the contract with Papa John's, right? I know that there's like, let's say, and I'm making up a number here, let's say there's 1,500 Papa John's, just to keep the math simple. Right? That means I know that I'm going to have this amount of revenue coming in based upon these amounts of goods, which means that I can now cut you regular, I've got Papa Marc's Pizza, in the greater DMV area. I've got 10 locations to serve you. I can lump your 10 location costs in with what I'm already getting for the Papa John's order, and you're still going to pay a nice little premium because I'm going to get a good markup, but it'll be a whole lot less than what you would do on your own as Marc Clarke, sole proprietor of 10, Papa Marks. And that's the thing. The other thing is you don't know who's in the room. Right. You don't know who could come there simply. Like sometimes I'll go to a conference or a convention of this type to see if there's somebody I want to acquire, or to see if there's something that I can make my own, right? When you look at what Zucks does with Facebook, he took Snapchat and made it a feature. Took Clubhouse and made it a feature. Damn. Right? Because that's what
he got Clubhouse.
He doesn't have Clubhouse, but he has that audio room thing. Oh, I got Same thing Twitter did, right? When you make something that was supposed to be foundational, a feature, when you take a tree and make it a branch, you're dangerous. So at that point, you got to look at who the tastemakers are, people who are looking for those pieces. And finally, you also want to see how you can tighten up on your game, what holes you have and where you need to go. And this tells you where you are. Like you can sit there and your wife can rub your back and tell you, oh, you know what? That cucumber mint lemonade you got, banging, baby. But let's see what's happening at the convention, because now you can do the Pepsi challenge with Crystal Light. You can do the Pepsi challenge, with Tastemaker One or whomever. Right. And then really see how your situation holds up. So you get to test your mettle. So there's so many opportunities there, but most of us won't take that trip because we don't really see all of the value points.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me give the intro for this brother. Now I've known him my whole life, so I could be biased, but let me tell you his it
sounds like you might be, but go ahead though. Okay.
Let me tell you his bona fides.
Give it to him.
So you know who I'm talking about. First off, let's start the first of the journey. He was selected to be a part of one of the most dynamic, and at the end of the day, the level of stress that they have to sustain puts them in a special category. I'm talking about a Navy nuclear engineer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first step in the ladder. Very few people, very few brothers of color have been in that space. So he moved from there to craft foods, ladies and gentlemen, and not just craft foods, but craft foods where his territory was Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm sorry. Before that though, after the Navy, y'all, he actually had to go get his degree in chemical engineering from the University of Illinois, the Fighting Illini, which is one of the finest engineering institutions in the country. From craft foods, ladies and gentlemen, a checkered career that led him to many different places, from brands that you may recognize, like I said, Kraft. Also, we can't forget about King's Hawaiian, ladies and gentlemen.
I made some Prozac.
Oh wow!
And also some Prozac for
the best serpent.
Eli Lilly. You may have heard of Eli Lilly.
Oh,
and
man.
Currently he is a VP at, you may see these commercials with Shannon Sharp, the supplement company, True Niagen. He is the VP of quality control at True Niagen. That's his day job. Now at night, he created what we call Delicious Beverage. Now, as you can imagine, because he does have a background in ingredients and chemical engineer, Delicious Beverage, the composition is different. It's different. We say that a lot about rappers who have different talents and wordplay. He's different when it comes to a product because he knows the ins and outs. He knows quality control. And so he has delivered Delicious Beverage, which now people say, well, have you guys done any research and development? Well, let's say on the West Coast for 5 years, he stepped away from corporate America and did festivals. He did he did events to find out, like you said, Dave, how delicious is this?
On the street.
On the streets, living off that. He went back into corporate America. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I call him Dog. Y'all know him as Al Rimbert, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Yes.
That was great.
Best.
I mean, that was really
Now,
great.
he did just wake up and he did not brush his teeth. So I'm catching it right now. I'm like his wife right now. But let me tell you, Dave, it's not bad because let's keep it real. We've all had humbling moments, Bootsy. One of the most humble moments that I had with my childhood friend was when I was in New York, staying at a roach-infested room in Jamaica, Queens, Dave. And me and Al had to share a queen-size bed. Now, being the ultra
look at Dave's face.
the men that we are,
Correction. Full-size bed.
Full-size bed.
Oh, not even a queen.
The machismo guys that we are, we did something that really was hilarious and sad because it doesn't speak to how stupid men are. We put our luggage in the middle to separate us in this situation. And I told him at that point, I said, Al, don't you ever tell anybody about this. So, look at Dave's face.
Luggage takes up too much space, Mark.
Y'all close.
Y'all wasn't going to talk. There wasn't going to be no wrangling.
So it didn't work.
Right. I don't.
So Al, first day assessment, how we do?
I think it went great. We had a nice little buzz. The product is legit. People use words like disruptive and fresh and obviously delicious. We had numerous companies wanting to buy right there on the spot, take stuff off the shelf, grab stuff off our stand.
Wow.
Can we get this right now? We had some private, what are they called?
Conversations, closed door meetings.
Oh, no, everything was right there and open. So you get in the conversation. And I like what you said about you don't know who is who. You don't know who you're talking to, really.
At all.
And so you got to show everyone respect. You got to show everyone
Courtesy,
because it could be, it could say director on their badge, or it could say representative on their badge, and they might be the CEO. They
Absolutely.
might be the biggest influencer in that company. And they're just there at a conference trying to find that diamond in the rough, trying to find that company that they've been looking for, that advantage. And so, you know, I know we got something special. When people ask, when they look at the label, you just add water and it tastes just like this? Yeah, that's right. Well, what's in this? And I just say magic. It's magic. And so we're excited because, like you said, very few people, or like Mark said, very few people make it to this level, unfortunately. and it's not that hard. I mean, it is hard, but we saw a guy next to us that didn't put the same level of
emphasis
into coming out here.
It's the details.
wanted to leave no stone unturned, no detail missed. The coordination of our booth, the colors, the lights,
everything.
I said it needed to be spectacular, and I redesigned our packaging so it was shelf ready. The packaging has to be spectacular. This is it. We don't want to lose this moment. Everything has got to be right. If someone says, I want to buy right now, it needs to be right. I don't want to be, well, next week we could blah, blah. No, let's get it done right now. And I was using my pin joke where I hand the pin and flip around the contract. Here you go. Let's get it done.
Here and here.
Al.
Always.
That's funny. Al, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, because I know I'm a listener as well. Can you just tell everybody what the exact name of this conference is? Because I know it could be somebody watching. They may have some insight. I'm hearing, but just for everybody, who do not know, could you tell everybody what this convention is and the name of it?
Well, so the great thing is this is Food and Beverage Week in Las Vegas. So there's actually 5 conferences occurring simultaneously in the same space. And so we're getting flow traffic from SIAL, which is the conference it's an international food conference. This is the first time they've ever been in the United States. They normally are in Germany and Brussels, but this year there's for the first time they come to the United States. So looking for exports, looking for new ideas to export and import all over the world. And so we're next to the conference Pizza Expo. So we closed like 4 individual pizza owners, a pizza truck. Now they want to put delicious beverage in their restaurants.
Wow.
Everyone is using lemonade, but none of them taste as good as ours. So when you taste it and you're the decision maker, why would you continue to use something that's not as good as this, right?
And more expensive.
And more. Well, I'm not going to say that. So ours are.
When I say that, here's what I mean.
Go with the bit, Al.
Everybody understands what I mean.
Let me
be clear.
I'm sorry.
Let me be clear on this, right? You have to have machines to service it if you're doing any type of fountain soda, right? You gotta buy that. You gotta buy that syrup, right? There's a bunch of other things. When all I need is cups and water, you're automatically cutting my cost. That's not cheap on your end. It's cheap. It's cheaper for them.
It's true. And one of the things that we learned, and I'm going to add it to my repertoire today, is convenience. All you got to do is add water and it tastes great. There's people that you got to tweak that country time. You got to tweak that. You got to work on that.
You got to play with it. You got to add your mama's ingredients.
Yeah, man. Then you got to make sure it's not too much
to make that taste good. And then if you out there actually squeezing lemons, from batch to batch, from day to day, those lemons might taste like anything, And it's
going to hurt your hand.
And it hurts
Copper
your hand.
tunnel. Copper tunnel is on the way.
Last week I was in here and the lemonade was bomb. This week, Carol's on vacation, so
it's Carol a little bitter today.
Lemonade tastes booty. So that we have a phrase called "It's always delicious. It's always refreshing," because the consistency of our product makes it where you don't have to do anything different, and it's always going to taste the same. So when someone comes into your restaurant, they know what they're getting, and so that's a huge differentiator.
Wow.
I have a question, Al.
Go ahead.
How many video testimonials did you get on the spot?
Well, Mark was my video man, but he was also my runner, food getter, coffee runner.
None of that sounds like a number.
Right. We got pictures, but you're right. We get testimonials. You're right. Testimonials.
You got to get the video because the video, it saves you production time when it comes to making your commercial. It also saves you content time when it comes to putting stuff on social. Right now, I'm going to be straight up and down, and I am what my mother would call the mad guzzler. It is the best I have ever had. I go to the Cheesecake Factory to get their cucumber lemonade because it is that damn good. Yours is better.
Wow.
Damn it, man.
I'm trying to tell you that's the money you're missing, when it comes to promoting this phenomenal product, right? And Al, I got some things I definitely want to talk to you about, because I'm about to go on tour, right, with one of my clients, and we need a sponsor. And I think Delicious Beverage could do good in major markets, because we're going Charlotte, Philadelphia, New York, LA, Atlanta, Nashville.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I definitely would love to sit down with you and see if we can work out a title sponsorship for that, because people need to taste it. Because once they taste it, it's over with. And Mark will tell you, because Mark has known me since I was 19 years old. I do not jump on products and be like, "Oh my God,
No, he does not.
Wow,
bruh, I couldn't stop drinking it, and my stomach is this big." I took bottles, so I emptied out people's water bottles. Like, yeah, you ain't gonna use that. And I filled it with Delicious Beverage so I could have it on the way home.
Now, the other thing on my end, as a broadcast journalism teacher who deal with young kids daily, because we talk about marketing in our class a lot. So two things that we always say: documentation beats conversation. Them video reels are so important, because the number one way that people get things marketed is through them reels, them 30-second reels in TikTok. That is the number one thing that people do. What David said is so true when it comes to videos and everything. I'll give you a prime example. We had this big thing in DPR last week where we had kids come out. It was an overnight Friday. We call it late night drip, where you just got to have fun all night long. We only expected 200 and something people. We got 700 people that students came out, and it was all through reels and TikTok. It was through 30-second videos and reels, and hashtags are the way of the world. Please listen to Dave when he tells you about them videos and the importance of how that connects with people.
Well, so today, you're right. Today at the taste table, I'll set up a video, and so then we'll just capture everybody, taste the whole process, and we'll have that.
And it's great to get that spontaneous reaction.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times you get that, you see the reaction, and then you hit record, and then it's kind of forged. But that spontaneous reaction, you know, that what the hell just happened right there. Those kinds of reactions are so real and so valuable.
And Dave, you know, it's funny. I tell Al the funny part being there, and then Rondi, shout out to Rondi, pointed it out, which Dave, you would have pointed it out too. The funny part is when you see the established brands there. So you saw, you know, Pepsi, the monster was there, right? And it's so funny, Dave. Pepsi is so, you know, so big. They're just offering. The phrase was, they were in the pizza thing, and the phrase was, "Goes great with pizza."
Yeah,
that's it,
and
that's all they have to do.
That's all. And so they were there, and they had their Pepsi, you know, product. And then they had a little bitty lemonade, was a little half a lemonade in it, was just looking just dry. And but there was a line of people, and I was just thinking, it's so funny. Like the little guys like us, we had the colorful booth and the colorful energy, and people are laughing at our booth and stuff. And they just had kind of people like standing in line just waiting to get their Pepsi, you know. And I said, wow, but that's it, right? When you're the big guy, that's what you're doing. But then Rondi pointed out, as you would, Dave, he said, yeah, but they're probably there scoping out.
To see who's up,
right. Scoping out possible companies to snatch up, and so again, the experience is great, because I think at the end of the day, and you talked about this before, Dave. The part about America that is just hilarious is kids you'll be arguing about capitalism versus socialism and capitalism versus this and that, but the funny part is very few of us have even a basic understanding of how capitalism even works and how business works. So it's like you're having a BS conversation at the barbershop, but you're not really involved. And I think the thing about you, even Dave, I know you from radio, and I've seen you dip yourself into this entrepreneurial space, and you're this business bully. But now I start to understand even a lot of your takes. I start to see past my your initial feelings about your emotions. And I'm starting to understand what you're talking about, because when you're a business person, you start to truly understand what you're really talking about, and how a lot of times things are just, it's kind of smoke and mirrors, you know. It's like with the Dave Chappelle thing, when they started promoting, you know, Dave Chappelle voted against low-income housing, you know, that's the headline, and they kind of drive it to the thing. And but then when you start to understand, when you start to really start hopping into it, you know, Dave Chappelle used his leverage in this town that he's brought millions to. Used his leverage and said, no, this is what you're gonna do, you know. And so it's not about the low-income housing. It's about here's a black man, and he's understanding his value. I brought millions, if not billions, to this town that I love. What you're not gonna do is have some, rinky-dink developer overshadow or have a bigger opinion than mine. And so, and that's the part. But then the part about it that's crazy is very few outlets talk about that. That's the conversation.
Yeah,
that's the real conversation, because that's what's going on every day in places that we live. People are wielding their power. I never forget. I lived in Silver Spring. We lived next to a shopping center, and the neighborhood, because they knew more than we knew, because we didn't go to no damn meetings. They said, no, we don't want drive-throughs, because drive-throughs bring down the value of our neighborhood, because outsiders come in at any time of the night and they make that strip mall, they change the dynamic. So they were out there every week. Nope. And now 20 years later, they still don't have a drive. We moved. They still don't have a drive-through in that strip area, because the neighborhood understood the value of their home, their neighbor, and what it meant when you have drive-throughs versus not having drive-throughs.
And who would have thought COVID would come and 80% of them failed during that time period? But anyway, so it goes from business to human understanding your value, and that's something that Dave has been on me for 20 years about me understanding my value. So I'm starting to finally get it, Dave. Business Bully TV.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. The thing that's ironic that I wanted to touch on, I want to go back for just a second. Pepsi had Ray Charles. Pepsi had Madonna. Pepsi had Michael Jackson, who had the greatest selling album to this day in the history of recorded sound, and they still can't beat Coke. But they have done enough to dominate 80% of the market.
Wow.
Without batting an eye. So the good news about that for somebody who is a delicious beverage versus a Pepsi is that they're lazy and they're stuck in tradition. So this is where we go and we start to innovate.
That's a fact, man.
The other part of it is, I know my value, and in radio, troublemaker, rabble rouser, doesn't play well with others, this, that, and the third. And you know what? They're still running around sending out air checks saying, please, sir, listen to my demo. And I'm like, how long is it going to take me before I can buy Radio 1? Like, so there's a trajectory there. You know, and everybody's not going to understand it.
Yeah, but also just the way you're talking about how we consume and presented products and marketing now. You know, I tell you, one of the greatest phrases I ever heard was evolution is undefeated. And the way people consume music, get their products, how it is marketed to them is now evolving. There is no set one or two ways to do it. And what Dave said was so key. They are stuck in their ways. A lot of people are just stuck in their old traditional ways and have no idea how to venture out. But there's so many I mean, just think of this, though. Fashion, let's look at the success of Fashion Nova. If you ever really sat and thought, anybody could have did that. When you really think about it, you know what I mean? When you really think about what they're doing, what they're really selling, we all could have did that. So that is so true what David's saying, that people are stuck in their traditional ways. You can be creative, and evolution is undefeated. Just don't be afraid to evolve.
Dave, break that down, because that is a good point, Bootsy. Break down Fashion Nova, Dave, because I think
it's my favorite subject.
I had to so when I was in New York, I have three daughters and a wife, right? Yes. So I'm in New York, and I'm starting to get that New York. I'm moving like I'm in New York. I'm from Springfield, now I'm in New York, right? I'm getting the New York thing, right? And so they picked me up from the train station or the bus station, and Bodak Yellow had just blown up from Cardi B, right? It's just blown up, right? And again, I'm old school, right? So it's a monster song. I hadn't really listened all the way to it. I saw her on the reality show. I saw whatever, and I kind of grouped her into the same kind of thing. And so I get in the car, and it's on the radio, and I hadn't really listened to it. And I said the magical words. I used a phrase I never used, because I think it is the terrible phrase. When it was on, I was like, Cardi B's trash. Of course, 30 minutes later, after the bruises healed, man, they all went in on me. They were going at me, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so, of course, then I started listening to Bodak Yellow. Of course, I did like the record. But I just say that to say, so Cardi B was unfamiliar to me. I didn't know a lot about it. I know she's a Fashion Nova person, I guess, early on. But so just like that's when I first heard of it. And then I started seeing all these packages come to the house from my youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing it everywhere. I was like, what is, again, I think this happens, like you guys said, traditions sometimes don't pay attention to evolution and we discount it. But then after, I guess at this point, is what, millions or billions ahead. So Dave, take us there. Where did it even come from? How did it happen? And why was it successful in this new world?
All right, so
don't know what Fashion Nova is. Tell people what Fashion Nova is.
All right, so Fashion Nova is basically an online retailer for women, right? Here's the gag. And before I get to Fashion Nova, I'm going to give you a parallel tragic story. Payless Shoe Source, who's been around, for a long time, they're no longer in existence now, did an amazing marketing campaign where they took a bunch of actual influencers with huge numbers and they put them in a very fancy shopping center in Beverly Hills, and they had them show these shoes. And these shoes were high quality, they were very well made, and they called it Polisi, right? Made up Italian word, but you're in there, with there's a Spago there is a Gucci there's a Versace there, and so like it made sense. So they're looking and they're like, oh, this is great. How much would you pay for that? Oh, well, this has got to be at least $1,500. Well, you know what? You could buy it for $750. So the influencers were buying these shoes left and right and left, and then they gave them back their money and said all these shoes came from Payless. That was the mistake. Once they got the study to find out that people would be willing to pay $750 to $1,500 for these shoes, what I would have done was created a shell corporation and said the Polisi company has bought all the rights to Payless and is shutting them down, shuttering them except for the ones that are in really good locations, and Polisi will be taking over that brand trust for people who want to do lower end things, and that's going strictly online, and we're just putting up real Polisis in all these places. Instead, everybody realized, oh, it's Payless. When the whack juice is on you, it's a problem. Having said that,
that's so deep. That's so
I
deep.
will say this.
That is so deep.
Have you ever heard of rainbow shops, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
Rainbow shops. You ask your wife; she knows what rainbow shops are.
They've been around forever.
For big women.
No, they have
that's
some
Lane
stuff.
Bryant.
That's Lane Bryant. Rainbow shops is usually in cheap strip malls. It's right between a Walmart or a Kmart or something with a Mart next to it, right? And you go in there, you get cheap little clothing, this, that, and the third. Here's the cold water. Rainbow shops are Fashion Nova.
Oh, damn.
Evolution is undefeated. And they have convinced
Say it again, Dave.
Evolution is undefeated. Rainbow shops are Fashion Nova, but they have convinced you because they did a complete and utter rebrand.
Wow.
And they give you sales and they give you coupons and they do everything digitally, and they'll hit you on your phone when they've got a sale coming, and you go, wow, I love it. Wow, you just got suckered by something that you passed by on your way to Kmart. But it works.
Somebody said cheap but cute.
Yes.
Lady Lay said no.
Yes.
Wow.
That was my whole point about what Fashion Nova did. How they made it seem like it was but they made it hip too. They made it very hip, cool, hip hoppy. They made it real. It was the same exact thing, but they had a whole different presentation. And it's almost like hip hop, where you would hear an old rapper, then you hear a new rapper being the new guy, or like R&B, like when somebody was like the new Teddy Pendergrass, and you'd be like, no, he just Teddy Pendergrass over a new beat. That's exactly what they did, bro.
Facts.
100%.
Listen, Trey Songz is R. Kelly. R. Kelly's Aaron Hall. Aaron Hall is Rick James. And until you can get that in your head, you're going to continue to get got. But yeah, that's why Fashion Nova is so big. Now, there's another company that saw a hole in what Fashion Nova was doing, and they said, we're going after the big money. Literally. They said if the median size of a woman is 16, then we're going 16 up, and they call themselves Fashion to Figure. And they find the sexiest, curviest, thick women they can find, and they put them clothes on them, and them things sell the hell out.
Find the hashtag. Hold on. Please tell them the hashtag for that one, because while I'm not teaching, my students love that junk.
Really?
Fashion to Figure?
Fashion to Figure. Please go look at that hashtag, bro. So you can see how my students will spend hours on their phone looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
Literally. Because the whole thing about this is this. The currency is in this.
Yes.
This is the currency. What I'm saying about them reels and what you spend time, the delicious beverage, The currency is in this. If you could get a funny guy to drink it and fall out drinking it and jump back up, that is currency. The more you can engage them through them reels and this and them videos, like Dave said, the better you win. It don't matter what it is you're selling. It does not matter. Like, and I sit here and watch my kids. So right now I have 18 college students, 18 high school college students. We do journalism. You should hear what they send to me that I had no idea existed. I mean, literally, and it comes through reels and TikTok. So be clear about this, whether people want to admit this or not. The number one radio station, the number one way to break a record is TikTok. I don't care what nobody tell you, bro. The number one thing to break is reels and TikTok. I would not even, if it was me, if I worked for y'all, I would only focus on that. I'm talking about if you hired me, we were 3 men. I would say we're only.
Hired you? What you mean? You already hired?
Yeah. Hold on, get your daughter.
I can't afford Dave. I hire you. I can't afford Dave.
Yeah.
How do you speak to me this way when you know I will kill you for it? What you mean you can't afford me? You know
but
you see how you ask Al? You see how you get around company?
Yeah, but no, like
you got Vegas in your name. Just come on through.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, that's funny too, though. But the interesting thing is, this discussion is really needed because it's opening and expanding the conversation on way things are presented. One more thing, and I'm gonna be done with this. People will be surprised that the number one way I would say people 25 and under can consume and get their news is through Twitter and Facebook.
Facts.
And IG. That is their news source. It ain't CNN. It ain't Fox. Nobody say. The number way these kids get their news.
Wow.
Of what's going on in the world is IG and Facebook and Twitter. That's a fact, bro.
What's funny about that, Bootsy and Dave, you guys know that the thing that tripped me out was, and again, we think as having kids, my thought would be that the kids don't care about the news, right? But my oldest always prides herself on asking me something about what's going on in the news that she saw on Twitter. And so I said, it's interesting. Like, I would never think that they would choose news to be on their feed, but they do.
You have to understand, Mark.
Why, Dave? Why do they, Dave?
Because they know what you have not been able to reconcile. And by you, I mean your generation. And that is the news is a show. Ask your wife. If it bleeds, it leads. There's a reason that they start off every daggone news program with who got raped, who got shot, who got robbed, who got murdered. Because fear is the greatest motivator. It'll keep you locked in. It'll keep you stuck. It'll make you run. It'll make you get a home security system. Mr. Wild was the number one guy at ADT because fear works. All I had to do was find out who got shot in the morning, and I knew where I was going to go door knocking for alarms. That's what happens. So they're off of the fear mongering. They just want the facts. And by the way, the news is too slow. We already know what happened on Masked Singer last night because of Twitter. Black Twitter is the greatest news source for the Black community ever. Because like white people are like, how do we get to Black Twitter really, Mr. Anderson? You don't.
You're laughing.
You don't.
Hold on, you're laughing. Marc and Al, what do you think the number one TV station is for people 25 and younger? Just so I can break this down to you. What do you think the YouTube is the number one? I don't care what television station you watch. YouTube is the number one television station in the world.
Yes.
I would only do Reels, IG, and YouTube. I would not. I'm telling you right now, I don't even think kids even know to go through the cable joke and go down. They'll go to YouTube first.
That's true.
They will go to YouTube.
You know what
they're not even going.
With Skylar and Spencer, the 20 and 17, what they like, and it drives me crazy, is they love these people on YouTube that break stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, it'd be so whack, but they'll watch it for hours. And what they're doing is taking gossip and expanding the gossip.
But you know why they watch it though, Mark?
Followers, right?
But you know why, Mark?
Huh?
But because my son do it too. But you know why they watch it? Because it's entertaining. The way they package it, you know what I mean? They talk real fast. They got the whole ambiance down. They package it.
That's true.
And make it very entertaining. It's very entertaining. My son watches it too. I know exactly what you're talking about. My son said there for hours watching it, but they present it. And that's what the news and a lot of these radio stations don't offer you.
So Dave, I wanted to, before we wrap up and get one more plug for Delicious Beverage out here in Vegas. So Dave, I want you to just give us this good word. before we go. So Ralph Lauren just cut a deal to do a thing with HBCUs, and everybody's excited about it. The blacks are excited about it. But Dave, years ago, Andre 3000, he had this a great looking. It was the same thing. Okay, it's the same damn soup, right?
Yes, verbatim.
And it didn't. What'd you say, Bootsy?
Verbatim. Go ahead. It was the same thing.
It did not catch on, Dave. He was, in a sense, the hood's Ralph Lauren as far as that look he was going for.
Absolutely.
And so now Ralph Lauren's doing it for HBCUs and pledges to give $2 million to HBCUs, but of course he's going to make billions. Dave, I give you the floor.
I take no pleasure in this destruction I'm about to unleash on Mr. Ralph Lauren. Full disclosure, my mother was a high fashion hairstylist, and so when they started to incorporate black women into their fashion show, my mother would style them because the white folks did not know how to style them. There's a picture somewhere my mom has in Arizona of Ralph Lauren bouncing a very young 4, maybe 5-year-old Dave Anderson on his knee, right? Very kind man, very nice man, right? Without Ralph Lauren, I probably wouldn't have the relationship I have with Farnsworth Bentley. Having said that, I will say this. It is not Ralph Lauren's fault that he saw an opportunity and decided to exploit it, because Negroes don't want to make the move. And even the Negroes who do want to make the move are not supported by the Negroes who would support the Ralph Lauren move, because it doesn't have the Ralph Lauren name. Because what happens is, listen, and I'm wearing a polo hoodie. They're comfortable. I'm losing weight. They're quality. They'll last.
Guilty as charged.
Here's the thing. We love white adjacency more than we love black creativity and superiority as a marriage, meaning that we're good at creating the thing. We're not good at financially exploiting it. And that is the problem. So when Ralph Lauren comes along and he says, oh, I'll give you $2 million, $2 million is nothing to him. He makes that in a day. Make no mistake, Ralph Lauren is not hurting. He's got low lines, he's got big lines, he's got small lines, he's got kids lines. Ralph Lauren got more money than he knows what to do with, and you're about to hand him the keys just because he gave you a piddling donation. I was more impressed with the fact that Robert Smith sat up there and told a group of Morehouse men at graduation, I'm going to let you leave here debt-free, drug-free, drama-free. I'm paying your student loans. But we look at Robert Smith like he's some type of bad guy, and then all the woke Negro herbal tea slippers with the daggone dusty ass hair that don't wash it are like, oh, well, you know, that doesn't mean anything. And this, that. Yes, it does. The reason that black people are so far behind is because of the lack of debt to income ratio that they could go ahead and buy houses. I don't need to redline you if I can control your pocketbooks. And Ralph Lauren understands that black people do not value their blackness as much as they value their association to whiteness. And that's why I will never work for a corporation. I can consult for plenty, but I'll never work for one. And the fact that white-owned, white-operated with very little black influence in the C-suite had sense enough to come in and get something cheap, because the licensing for those universities is dirt flipping cheap. You could probably get it with what Delicious Beverage makes in a week, you know, to do the same very thing.
Delicious Beverage. Let's go, Hampton.
It's selling. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But it's disgusting, but not surprising. And I cry for Andre 3000, not because he's an innovator, but he's too early. And unfortunately, the idea is never the idea that time has come until the white man says it's okay first.
It's so crazy. He has been. You're right. That marriage with the Andre 3000, the marriage with my man Farnsworth Bentley. It's so perfect, but like you said, just a little too ahead of its time. Yep. Not even ahead of its time. I don't think that's one thing, Dave, that I think sadly, again, it's a whole other conversation, is when we say it's ahead of time, it's not, because we're so far behind and not really playing the game that it's like watching this the Supreme Court nominee have to sit before these people. The one thing that's so hilarious is how idiotic these elected officials really are. Like,
but they're not. They're playing the role, Mark. They are doing.
What I mean is, from a standpoint of, it's not. It's just like when Facebook sat in front of them. It's like your grandfather asking Elon Musk about No, it's like what I mean. It's like you're not even in the same category as far as
it's a whole disconnect. It's a whole
and
disconnect.
it's just
a whole disconnect.
It's comical, and it's just like you said. Our kids are seeing this, and they are just they don't believe in this system at all. I mean, as far because they're looking at us like clowns. I mean, it starts with the parents. Then you look at all the other grown folks, and you just be like, it's just like when the kids who are and so the whole other topic when this whole back to the technology in Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Like they see grown folks having these conversations, elected people having these conversations, news people having these conversations, and they're sitting there like this person has no idea what they're talking about right now. Oh. And I'm 17 years old. And so with that, Albert, we're getting ready for a full day. Any final words?
Congratulations, gentlemen. First of all, congratulations to both of y'all for doing this. This is amazing. Congratulations, y'all.
Let me tell you something. When the billions come in, we will never forget about you guys. We won't see you that much, but we'll never forget about you. We love these moments.
I'm never doing this show again. I don't have to take this. I'm gonna call Jason Lee right now.
Look, as our only millionaire friend, Dave, calm down, okay? Hey, these are jokes. You can go back to your bank account and lay on your money. Okay, we're just having.
Let me get this in real quick.
Yes, sir.
So what's your guys' opinion about? Because as I'm speaking to these buyers or business owners, et cetera, they see the booth, they taste the product, it's amazing, and then they'll ask, well, like, who are you? They want to know who I am. Because obviously they don't believe I could be the owner of such a thing. So how do you approach that? Do you downplay the fact that you're the owner? You just act like, well, I can get the owner on the line. Or
it depends.
I can clear it with the owner, if you will. Or do you just step up and own that shit? Because some people are so intimidated by Black folks sometimes. And they can't help themselves, right? And so they can't believe that such a thing is possible. We're competing on such a level, but yet So I'm just so the question is, do you stand on it or do you downplay it? And see
I like to let them be shocked. For example, my admin is a white woman named Danielle. She lives in Iowa. She is the whitest white woman ever. The thing of it is, my name is Dave Anderson. You see what I'm saying? So when I show up, they usually think I'm security.
Right.
I let them think what they want. What I always do in those types of situations, say, listen, I'm operating under full authority of the owner. It's not a lie. It's the truth. The other part of that is if they're intimidated, but that's what gets you the deal. Once the paperwork is signed, it doesn't matter who you are. I never diminish my Blackness, but I understand that there are certain people in order for me to get my agenda put, because the idea for me is legacy for my great-grandchildren whom I've never met. Right? So if that means that sometimes Danielle will go ahead of me, or I will send, because 96% of my staff are Black women, I will send them out, and then you meet me later on and you start connecting the dots, because most people just think I'm a podcaster and entertainer. They don't know what I hold, and they don't need to, because let's face it. Tell me what Mr. Maserati looks like.
Right.
Before we make it a racial thing, tell me who the actual owners of the Brooklyn Nets look like.
Right. Jay-Z,
tell me the person who does all the supplying for Major League Baseball looks like. You can't give me their names. Tell me what tell me what the owner of Netflix looks like. What's their name? So this never becomes an issue when everybody else does it and does things clandestinely. You don't know who the man is because you don't know who to kill. Right. So that's how I would handle that. The product is delicious beverage. Whoever's there to represent it is representing it. And as far as they know, Marc Clarke, cultural broadcast icon, is there just because he's your celebrity spokesperson. They don't need to know anything else about partnerships, agreements. That's none of their business.
That's true.
That's how I handle it. I'm operating under full authority of the owner. If you'd like a meeting, we could set one up for Zoom maybe sometime next week.
That's amazing. Amazing.
That's why, ladies and gentlemen, Dave, the business bully Anderson. That's why. Drop the mic. And by the way, great job on that the podcast you were on, Dave. And who knew? I didn't know you were a singer too, man. You didn't tell me that part, man. Damn.
Oh yeah, man. I got talents, bro. You never know what you're gonna need. Sometimes you got to pull it out. You know?
And so, and then and we gotta do a show. You know, Bootsy basically, you know, having stayed with Earth, Wind, and Fire for 5 years, living on the compound. We won't ask any questions, Bootsy. Never mind. We'll never ask a question about what happened. But we want to, Dave, I want you to come back and we have to explore that, because Bootsy, that's fascinating. The information that a Maurice White and crew, that information that they had on that level. You just think all the rooms Maurice White was in. But anyway, Al Rim, it's a blessing to be here with you. I'm excited about what we're doing here. Guys, thank you for sharing in the moment. Dave, of course, love you, man. Bootsy, love you too.
Thank you.
But wait, Mark, no, you can't close the show. We don't know where to order our delicious beverage.
Man, can you tell him
Damn
again?
it, Dave.
Can you tell him again?
Come on,
Can
man.
you tell me?
And
And also, what is your social media information too while you're at it? But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no,
Our
I need that right
Instagram
now.
is Delicious Bev LBC. Delicious Bev LBC. You can buy it at www.deliciousbeverage.com.
Now,
and you can use my code to get a discount.
And search us on Google, and you can find it on Google Shopping as well. I just hooked that up.
And let me give a supreme shout out. We have 2 major DMV influencers checking in. Shout out to Larry Stomp Atwater, who's on here, the Northeast Groovers owner and manager. There he is right there. He owns a few things in the DMV. Also, Ray Essence is in the building. Thank y'all. So y'all checking in as well.
Okay.
Shout out to my man.
I know.
Ray Essence and Northeast Groovers is in the building right now. That guy, Larry Stomp Atwater, is in there. And trust me, they love selling beverages at their concerts as well.
Now.
So
I already told you about the tour.
All right, so Dave,
Let's get it done.
Dave, let's get this delicious beverage. We are interested in being a sponsor of the tour, so definitely let's do that. Obviously, in Atlanta, we got that one. We locked that one down, definitely. But we'll get you on that. And then, of course, Bootsy, like you said, it's probably time. Springtime's probably time for a go-go fest somewhere in the DMV.
Yeah, but also you guys can use my 18 college and high school students as your focus group. Maybe you guys should sit in and see what they think about it, how they would present it to their peers, because that's one of the pluses of having this group that we have.
What we could do, Bootsy, what we'd like to present to the kids is we like to hire them to create videos on TikTok and
they like
on
money. They like money.
Instagram Reels to promote delicious beverage, and we'll pay them for that.
They like money. Trust me.
How about that? And Dave, we need a post every day, right, Dave?
At least.
Yes.
All right. Well, deal done. Ready? Break. All right, y'all. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Thanks for everybody who's watching in real time. Thank you for supporting. Make sure you subscribe. For those who are watching this at a later date, thank you for watching. And please subscribe.
Congratulations, Al. Congratulations, Mark. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, guys. Peace out, Brooklyn. Much respect due when I reminisce over you.